deserved to win.
They missed Campbell, didn't they, Tottenham,
Yes,
once
so,
he went off. But Arsenal might have had more goals then, and they looked as though they could have had 4 or 5.
Easily could have done. In fact, Sullivan, I thought, was absolutely brilliant today.
Right, we're going to concentrate, of course, on this one. Wycombe Wanderers against Liverpool. They now know who they will play on May the 12th at Cardiff, of course. And for this little club, who would have thought, who amongst their supporters would have thought they'd be here at Villa Park on this day playing an FA Cup semi-final against the mighty Liverpool? They're here. We hope you're going to enjoy it. Whatever happens, it should be great fun. Well, High Wycombe is a ghost town today. They're all here at Villa Park to see their little team from Division 2 take on the might of Liverpool. And for Wycombe fans, this is a day they will never, ever forget, as long as they live, I'm sure that is so. Right, well, Lawrie Sanchez has already made FA Cup history as a player and as a manager getting this far with Wycombe. Here he is now with Gary Newbon.
Lawrie, nobody gives Wycombe outside of Wycombe's team a chance of winning today. So how have you been able to persuade the players that they can do it?
Same way that we persuaded them that when nobody gave us a chance against Leicester. 11 players play 11 players. I mean, we are professionals, you know. I was saying to the players in there, they can't run any faster than us, they can't jump any higher than us, they can't tackle any stronger than us. It's about a will to win today. I mean, everything that happens in the league goes out of the window. You know, our league form, their league form, that's all out the window. This is the FA Cup. This is a one-off. Has to be finished today. The team that has the greatest will to win will win.
But their cup form's been pretty good. They've won the Worthington Cup. They're doing well in the UEFA Cup.
Yeah, they haven't played us yet, though.
Are you going to make sure you don't get sent off, Lawrie, like you did at Leicester?
Hopefully there won't be any decisions where I've got to make my feelings known. You know, when sometimes you see injustice, you've got to stand up and say something. Cost me a lot of money, but you know, sometimes you've got to do those things.
Having done so fantastically well to get to the semi-final, are you absolutely certain that your lads won't get fazed by all this today?
No, they won't freeze today. They're looking forward to it. They're enjoying it. They're gonna give a good account of themselves today. When they walk off that field at the end of the day, Liverpool will know they've been in the game.
Fantastic to be here, isn't it?
It's fantastic to be at Cardiff. It's quite nice to be here. Be in bed to be at Cardiff.
He might well be there, who knows? He's a cool man, Lawrie Sanchez. Well, Wycombe today are trying to go where no team outside the top 2 divisions has ever gone before, to the final of the FA Cup. 7 have tried so far, and 7 have failed. Just like Millwall and Port Vale before them, York City fell at the penultimate stage. Arthur Bottom's goal earned them a second chance against Newcastle, but despite their heroics, they lost the replay 2-0. Tottenham and Manchester United were beaten by Norwich in 1959, and they too forced a semi-final replay. But Luton's Billy Bingham finished off the Canaries at St Andrews. 17 years on, swashbuckling Malcolm Allison was certain his Crystal Palace side and their youthful-looking coach would make it all the way to the Twin Towers. Eventual winner Southampton, though, had other ideas. Palace beaten 2-0. Villa Park was the venue for Plymouth's attempt to rewrite Cup history, but they lost out to Graham Taylor's Watford and the head of George Riley. The most recent and the unluckiest of all, Chesterfield were 2-1 ahead of Middlesbrough when Jonathan Howard's perfectly good goal was adjudged not to have crossed the line. It finished 3-3, but their chance had gone. They lost the replay, but it should have been so different. Terry, you've hardly changed in 26 years.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
You sound like Ritzig there.
It wasn't me.
How important is this match to Liverpool today? Every time I read something about them, they say, what we really want is to get in the Champions League next year. But, I mean,
well, I mean, they're going to play those things down. They're looking to go for all of them. They've publicly said they have been envious of Man United, and they're really, I would think, enjoying it a great deal. But they're also aware, and like I've said, that the semi-final, to me, is more dramatic than the final. You've got all this way, you're in touching distance for the big day, and when you lose, it is the worst feeling in the world. Final is a bad feeling, but you have had the day, you have had the build-up.
At least you got there.
You got there,
yeah. What do you feel about the current Liverpool? I think I've asked you this before, I'll ask you again. Are they the real deal now? Everybody's saying they're going to be up there with Manchester United now.
Well, they've certainly proved in recent weeks they're more than capable of dealing with the big boys. Some great results in Europe. Tremendous, obviously, you know, Roma, Porto, great result in Barcelona. of course beating Manchester United 2-0 was a tremendous feat in itself as well. I won't be convinced until they're up challenging at the top of the league, which they might do next year. But I mean, they're sensational in one-off games. They're more than capable of winning the 3 cups. I don't think there's any doubt about that, but I just think they're short of in the last minute.
Okay, thanks for the moment. Well, the feeling is that Gérard Houllier is doing a terrific job with Liverpool, putting them back in the big time where they think they belong. Let's hear what he has to say.
We played Tranmere, and it was not an easy game. We know that every game when you play against a lower division, the lower division side will probably rise to the occasion. So you've got to make sure you do yourself the same sort of step in your game.
For me, the biggest competition I would like to win at the moment is the FA Cup. Because I remember as a young lad, watching teams go around the city with the cups, and I always wanted to do that.
Every single player in the camp wants to go to the final first, and that's probably a feeling which is shared by the Wycombe players. And we've followed the Wycombe team, we've scouted them, so we rate them, and we'll be in our toes, we'll be ready for that.
Over the years, I think Liverpool supporters have been spoilt, and I think it's up to us to try and spoil them again.
We have the Little and Large semi-final here at Villa Park today. Wycombe Wanderers against Liverpool. The winners to play Arsenal on May the 12th at Cardiff, a match which will of course be live for you on ITV. Arsenal having beaten Tottenham earlier by 2-1. Today, though, Liverpool expects kick-off shortly. We're all set then for the FA Cup semi-final here at Villa Park between Wycombe Wanderers and Liverpool. The winners to play Arsenal on May the 12th at Cardiff. Let's now join Clive Tilsley.
Thank you, Des. As you can see, the players, many you will know, some you will be seeing for the first time in your lives, are on their way. It is quite simply the greatest day in the footballing lives of all of these Wycombe players and most of their near 20,000 following. This wasn't supposed to happen. It's a daydream they can really believe in, and only the FA Cup can make such wishes come true. The Oxbridge Blue Quarters of Wycombe Wanderers in the FA Cup semi-finals. 13 years ago, when Lawrie Sanchez and his assistant Terry Gibson contributed generously to FA Cup folklore at Liverpool's expense, Vinnie Jones conducted some high-octane hijinks in the Wembley tunnel in a bid to unsettle the Liverpool players, but it all looked pretty respectful and friendly in there as the players came out. And Wycombe have two very special mascots today. 16-month-old Maxwell is the son of midfield player Steve Brown. He survived 20 operations to correct a stomach condition. He spent much of his young life in hospital, but he's on the mend. And 5-year-old Jack is the son of manager Lawrie Sanchez, whose wife Heather died tragically young 2 years ago. Lawrie leaves his desk at Wycombe at 3 o'clock every day to collect Jack from school, whatever. There's a special bond between father and son, and those two young boys are putting the fantasy of FA Cup football in proper perspective today. Well, let's take a final check on the lineups. Liverpool's 11 assembled at a cost of £30 million. A Wycombe team costing just £275,000. Goalkeeper Martin Taylor used to be a pit-faced coal miner. In front of him, a back three of Jamie Bates, who scored the first goal of the Cup run back in November. Jason Cousins, a former bailiff. And alongside him, Paul McCarthy, the Irishman who scored 5 times in this season's FA Cup. Surprise at right wing back, 19-year-old Ben Townsend, the youngest man in the semi. Chris Vinningham, an ex-England under-21 internationals on the left. Solid unit of 3 in midfield. Danny Bullman just establishing himself this season. Michael Simpson, ex-Notts County, the best passer in the team, and Steve Brown, the man suspended after his headline red card at Leicester, but clear to play now. Up front, Wycombe's leading goal scorer Andy Rammell was always going to play, but Keith Ryan has got the nod over Guy Whittingham and Roy Isando. Worth recording that Wycombe have 4 or 5 key players out injured. Lawrie Sanchez does prefer 4-4-2, but he's had to tailor his formation to the men available to him during the last couple of months. The average age of that Wycombe team is over 32. Liverpool are much younger and much better known. No rotation in defence. Sander Westerveld is playing again. Marcus Babbel, who's missed only 3 games all season at right back. Stefan Honcho missed the quarter-final, but he's on duty today. Honcho and Sami Hyypiä are an item at centre-back. Jamie Carragher continues to grow into the left-back role. There are changes in midfield, though. Nick Barmby, twice a beaten FA Cup semi-finalist with Spurs, is on the right. Dietmar Hamann, a beaten FA Cup finalist with Newcastle, plays alongside Gary McAllister in his very first FA Cup semi. And then on the left, maybe a surprise, Christian Ziege is back in favour. Up front, Michael Owen, after 75 minutes alone in the Nou Camp on Thursday, and the man who replaced him against Barcelona, the only survivor of the '96 Cup final, Robbie Fowler. 9 of those 11 played against Barcelona 60-odd hours ago. McAllister and Fowler as substitutes, but Barmby and Ziege are the only truly fresh legs. Mind you, Gérard, Heskey and co are in reserve. Referee today has done FA Cup final service. He's Paul Durkin. Liverpool have had their huddle, and now Wycombe Wanderers are replicating it with a huddle of their own, as if they needed to psych themselves up for this particular occasion. A return to a traditional FA Cup semi-final venue. Liverpool's 21st semi-final at Villa Park. His first. Well, there's no shortage of competition for these sports headlines this weekend, but if Wycombe Wanderers come even close to beating Liverpool,